Invitation to come to the White House. The Golden State Warriors said no in 2017 and 2018. The Toronto Raptors said no in 2019. The Lakers declined in 2020. The Oklahoma City Thunder said no after winning last year's title. It will be interesting to see how Knicks players react if Dolan, who signs their paychecks, insists that they come with him to the White House. Stay tuned. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are live in Los Angeles, California, where we will be 35 tomorrow here at KBLA Talk 1580, and we're celebrating it with you. Join all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. There will be food, there'll be drink, there'll be dancing. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be present, the one and only Lunel, the Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free. But you must register at KBLA Talk 1580. That's KBLA1580.com, and we're encouraging folks to rideshare. However you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. It's Thought-Provoking Thursday on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and we will be talking Juneteenth. We'll be talking reparations. We'll be talking redistricting today. Atiba, in our conversation, is the former Deputy Executive Director of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. He's a strategic alliance consultant and president of Party Politics US. He's worked as a TV producer, contributor for BNC News, The Heat, In the Know with Mo, The Leslie Marshall Show, iHeartRadio, 96.3 WHUR, and the One America News Network. Atiba, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Hey, Jesse, it's good to be with you.
I know that we have a special guest whom we'll be introducing momentarily, but I did want to say always the great irony. I spoke just a day or so ago with Wilmer Leon, Dr. Wilmer Leon here on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and we talked about the duality, the two-ness in so many ways of what it means to be an African American. On the one hand, we celebrate and we also commemorate. In the city of Chicago, we are celebrating the commencement, if you will, of the Barack Obama Presidential Center, a monumental event in the 400-year sojourn of African Americans in the Americas, and certainly during the 250th anniversary since the Declaration of Independence. The inauguration of that particular center stands as a milestone of achievement in the history of the United States, obviously in Black history as well. But at the same time, we commemorate some of the challenges that we are confronting in our community, from redistricting to the loss of representation in the House of Representatives, and even but not limited to the Trump administration now seeking to put a halt to efforts at the city of Evanston, Illinois, which has begun a reparations program in the form of housing assistance for African Americans who were discriminated against between 1919 all the way to the present in their small city. And that fund has a contribution base that is African American, that's white, that's Jewish, that's multi-religious. Synagogues are involved, churches are involved, Blacks are involved, whites are involved. They all have agreed that to bring their community together, there must be some repair for the damage that has been done in the city of Evanston, setting the stage for other cities around the country, essentially to do the exact same thing. I'm honored that Atiba is joining us this day in our Thought-Provoking Thursday and in conversation. Atiba, once again, welcome forward.
Hey, Jesse, it's good to be with you.
Atiba, your thoughts about the opening of the Obama Presidential Center?
It's amazing. I mean, I still remember the night that he was elected president. And, back then, I feel like an old person, Jesse, now. Back then we knew the night of who the president was going to be. And, I remember on CNN, Wolf Blitzer said we have a announcement, came back at 11 p.m. The polls closed in California, and boom. And here we are now, 18 years later, celebrating the commemoration, as you said, the commencement of the Presidential Center being open, which I honestly look forward to being in Chicago and seeing what's inside and how they've done it. It's been really nice watching online the build up to this. And I think it was yesterday or the day before when he and his wife, Michelle, were on stage, and she had a picture of her mom on a dress, which was very touching and very beautiful. And, so many stories in terms of their presidency, and so many places and things, whatever that we can think of in terms of hope and the change that came about as a result of the presidency, though we still feel now that we are still fighting for freedoms that we thought that we had achieved, but the struggle continues.
It is my sincere hope that when we think about the anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580, our 5th anniversary here in Los Angeles, broadcast by way of the app all over the world, and the commencement, the founding, the starting, if you will, of the Obama Presidential Center, that we are towards, I repeat, towards a definition of Juneteenth that will be liberating for African American and progressive minds, liberals and others across our country for hundreds of years, potentially hundreds of years. And by that, I mean When Juneteenth began, it was a hoodwink, a bamboozle, where Texas officials and slaveholders refused to let the slaves know that they were free, either by way of the Emancipation Proclamation or by way of the 15th Amendment, and therefore several years of accumulated labor eventually became the very definition, when the news got to those slaves that they were free, that they were indeed free. And now intellectually, it's going to be almost impossible going forward for us to think about Juneteenth without thinking about the Obama Presidential Center and its anniversary every single year during this period, just like it will be impossible to forget about the anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. We have been pickpocketed for the better, inaugurating a movement forward that will make a difference for the nation and for the world. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. When we come forward, more conversation with Atiba right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it.
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God.
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Let's do this. We're heading into one of the most important election seasons in a generation. And with so much on the line, your healthcare, your economy, your neighborhood, you deserve more than sound bites. You deserve the full story. KBLA Talk 1580 is your trusted voice for political coverage, commentary, and conversation. From local races to national headlines, we bring you the insight and perspective you need to make sense of it all and make your voice heard. Between now and November, a lot will happen. A lot will change. But one thing won't. KBLA Talk 1580 will be right here, keeping you informed, keeping you engaged, and keeping it real. KBLA Talk 1580, the place for politics.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We are in conversation this Thursday with Atiba right here on Thought Provoking Thursdays on KBLA Talk 1580. Atiba, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you, Jesse. It's good to be here.
Atiba, I'm thinking when I juxtapose the hope that is represented by the Obama Presidential Center and what we saw at the White House, the spectacle, the UFC fight, that the truly American event that defines our culture, that defines who we are, that defines the coming together of a people is more represented by what's taking place right now, this very moment on the south side of Chicago, in ways that it did not take place in Washington, D.C., in the lawn or on the lawn, if you will, of the White House. Tiba, the juxtaposition, your thoughts?
My first thought is the uncivilized Fight Club. But in terms, I was like, but in terms of, the president, we get to see the juxtaposition of two different, I don't want to know if I want to say realities, but realities. We get to see where we went after an amazing, classy, elegant gentleman try to do what was in the best interest for the entire country, and just juxtapose that with someone who does everything that's really selfishly entitled toward themselves as president, even down to having an uncivilized fight club on the lawn of what should be and what the 44th president recognized as the people's house. And it is up to us during these midterms to determine what direction we want to go. If we want to continue going in a direction of futility, or if we want to get back to a place of civility.
I appreciate that. We are now joined, by the way, with our very special guest, Representative Retta Andrews Bowers, who was elected to serve the House District 113 in the Texas House of Representatives in November 8th of 2018. She made history, elected as the first African American to represent this district. House District 113 includes parts of Rolette, Garland, and Mesquite. She is an alumna of Spelman College, Texas Southern University, earning her bachelor's degree in telecommunications with an emphasis in broadcast journalism. She is a current state representative in the state of Texas. A lot of things are taking place down there, but let's not forget that Al Green and other state representatives, when they were in the state house, are responsible for the elevation of the holiday itself, that is Juneteenth, to a statewide holiday. And of course, the late Sheila Jackson Lee, who I had the great privilege of serving with in the Congress of the United States, advanced the federal legislation to which KBLA now owes its birthday, as well as the founding and the commencement, if you will, of the Obama Presidential Center. Representative Retta Andrews, how are you, ma'am?
I'm great, thank you. Can you all hear me?
We certainly can, and we are so grateful that you're joining us today.
It's great to be here with you today, Jesse Jackson Jr. and Atiba. Thank you so very much for the honor of being invited to join you all for this great conversation this Juneteenth week. And as you all have already mentioned, with all the things going on, it is more important now than ever that we celebrate the faith and resilience of those that came before us and all they fought for, and that we fight even harder in the times that we're presently facing.
Thank you, Representative Atiba.
Representative Bowers, thank you so much for joining us. And as Jesse introduced this, and he talked about the work of Congressman Al Green when he was a state legislator, one of the things that I often am so appreciative of the state legislators, my friends who come on to this show, is because the way that I was brought up into this part of working with state legislators was to understand that there is so much that happens on the state level that often people are not cognizant of. But the real work, I believe, happens on the state level. This week, you mentioned that the Juneteenth and this week. Can you give us an idea of like what's the energy like for you all in your district? What are some of the things that are happening there to commemorate the holiday?
So thank you for that. I mean, we're coming out of and right in the midst of, I will say, a very positive week. I like to call it Unity Week. I'm the chair of an organization called Project Unity. We had a great concert with Kurt Carr last night, a tribute to Kurt Carr. So we had gospel, there are awards for, there's an awards dinner for people that are contributing to the community. But I think for the most part, every city that I serve is having their own Juneteenth celebration. One thing that happened this year, I think people are paying attention. They're mindful of DEI being on the chopping block, and certainly the erasure are trying to erase our history and community as a whole. And some employees are saying to their employers, hey, you celebrated Cinco de Mayo. Why are you not doing anything for Juneteenth? And or you didn't do anything for Black History Month. So we have to fight even harder to be seen and be heard. And so, outside of the gospel celebration last night, I will have a number of other speaking engagements, and they know that they cannot erase us. So they are making sure that they are pulling, whether it's me or my son. I'd have to say in our community, my son is the deputy mayor pro tem of one of the more conservative parts of the district. And he and I have had to really tag team, if you will, and cover everything because they are aware that they are not going to be able to erase us as a community.
Representative, let me ask a question, if I might, because so much does come out of Texas, and you are obviously in the thick of it. It was Governor Abbott who sent immigrants by bus, a kind of reverse freedom rides to urban municipalities in the north, like New York, like the city of Chicago, like Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, like Washington, D.C. And of course, not right behind that strategy was Donald Trump, essentially dumping ICE into in many of these cities that became hotbeds during the last couple of years as a result of that strategic political activity, that MAGA activity. But also from Texas, we have seen a massive effort, which also triggered redistricting wars across our country. Initially, the state of Texas, and then the state of Florida responded, and other states are engaging in the same activity. So much is happening out of Texas in terms of dictating the next steps of our movement, of our involvement, and quite frankly, if we're honest, what it means to be an American is being defined by so much of this activity at the 250th anniversary, this crossroads for America. Representative Bauer, your thoughts?
So I agree with you, and we have known for some time that they've said in elections, whichever way Texas goes, so goes the nation. And so when you look at it, they've come up with what they're calling a Southern strategy. And because we know that with the redistricting fights, it's been a sweep across the Southern states. And we have been in it for a while. I sit here in my home office today, looking at the warrant for my arrest for that first quorum break. I've got the warrant for my second arrest right here, ready to be framed, because we have been asked, to go ahead and deny quorum, to make sure that we were standing up for democracy, and certainly for proper representation and in protection of our voting rights. When we were in Chicago, I didn't want to forget to give you my condolences for the loss of your father, because the first time we broke quorum, we were in Washington and your father joined us. But on that second one in Chicago, we were shedding a different spotlight. And it was not only about Texas, as you are saying, sir. It became a spotlight to say, this is happening in Texas, but it could be in your backyard next time. And I do know that Chicagoans and those in Illinois, they heard us. And we, it had already happened, some of those things in North Carolina. So it is a full-blown fight to protect voting rights. And we know that the protection of the Voting Rights Act, along with that comes access to education and healthcare and all the other basic needs. So whatever issue is of concern to you, your voting right protection is one that you really want legislators to stand up for, because whatever issue is on your heart, with your voting rights taken away, you stand the chance to not have fair representation and the proper representation that will look after you and certainly fight for your best interest.
Yeah. So, we talk about voting rights, and Representative Bowers, for the last few weeks, Jesse and I have talked about a number of things from redistricting, and, thank you so much for what you and your caucus did on that issue to bring attention to this. But one of the things I often say is that we see where we are, but in order to solve the problem, I feel like we have to go back to the past. And, we're talking about Juneteenth, and we know that the enslaved Americans of African descent there did not receive word until 2 years after, which is what made this even such a bigger issue. But today it seems as if within our communities that there are a lot of people that are still not getting the word about why it's so important to vote. What are some of the things that you see that we can be doing in terms of talking about our history, but doing so in a way that can be inspiring, that moves people to recognize the power of their vote? Because right there in Texas, you all have, if not the lowest, one of the lowest voter turnouts in the country.
Yes. Thank you for that, Atiba. One thing I'll say that I was thinking of leading into this conversation is, of course, Miss Opal Lee, when we're talking about Juneteenth. And she talks about a lot of times making the commitment to be a committee of one. A lot of times it just takes one person to voice some things that will spark a fire. I think about my colleague Nicole Collier when she stayed on the floor, right? And didn't turn herself over into custody. So sometimes you have to be a committee of one. And to believe that taking one step after the other will certainly get this thing done. Miss Opal Lee did that, and in 2021, Juneteenth became a federal holiday, and we know that. I like to think, when looking at the fact that those that were enslaved back then, that did get the delayed message of freedom, we have to really think that a message delayed is not a message denied. We have to know that it was their faith and resilience that kept them going, and we have to be able to celebrate that. And that's what we're doing in the moment as we continue to celebrate Juneteenth. But celebrating Juneteenth is a reminder that as we celebrate America's 250th, we don't have that same luxury. So it is a reminder that our freedom came a little bit later, and we have to continue to fight to make sure that we really do live freely in a country that certainly we are made to feel is not our own.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're in conversation with Atiba, Representative Retta Andrews Bowers is our very special guest. More when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. The family of Black former NFL player Aldon Smith says they have hired attorneys and plan to have Smith's brain studied for possible CTE. The family released a statement and said they will send his brain to Boston, where medical experts will examine it for CTE as well as other damage caused by years of concussions and other trauma. Smith died last Saturday at a hospital in San Jose, California, after suffering a medical emergency. After years of preparation and work, the Obama Presidential Center finally opens today in Chicago's Jackson Park, with a star-studded list of performers taking the stage for the grand opening ceremony.
I want young people to come here and think, you know what, sky's the limit. You know, President of the United States, right? I could do anything that I want to do.
Then the WNBA will expand to a 50-game season in 2027. Get BIN News Now on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers had the best record in Major League Baseball after a 3-game sweep over Tampa Bay. The sweep put the Dodgers at 48-27. They have a 9-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at home Friday night against Baltimore. The first round of the World Cup is generating high TV ratings for Fox Sports and Telemundo, the primary broadcast partners for the World Cup. An average of 6 million viewers tuned into Fox Sports for each of the first 16 group matches. That's a 128% increase from first-round matches for the World Cup in 2022. An average of 7.5 million people watch first-round matches on Telemundo, the Spanish-language network based in Miami. The 7.5 million is a 234% increase from 2022. 18 million viewers on Fox Sports watched the U.S. beat Paraguay last Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Our voices aren't the minority opinion. They're the American conscience. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
This is America.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavish Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some Black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that Black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is termed out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, Black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the Black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are live in Los Angeles, California. We are in conversation with Atiba. Atiba worked as a TV political contributor. He's worked on an opinion series produced by Washington, D.C. political newspaper The Hill. In 2020, Atiba released his first novel, Saving Grace, a political thriller. Atiba, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Jesse, it's good to be here.
And our very special guest in this hour is the Honorable Retta Andrews Bowers. Bowers is a former educator and has volunteered many hours on district PTA and band booster executive boards within the Garland Independent School District. She has maintained an active membership at St. Paul United Methodist Church and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, of which she is a lifetime member. She was previously appointed to the Rolette Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, where she served. She is presently a state representative who represents the 113th District in the Texas House of Representatives. Representative, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you so much, Jesse Jackson Jr. and Atiba, thank you as well for including me in this important conversation.
Representative, you're always welcome. Again, I want to say that, Black people find themselves in a celebratory mood on the one hand, but then we're also dealing with reality on the other. I think it was James Baldwin who said, it is impossible to wake up every day as an African American and not be in some form of outrage. On the one hand, we are celebrating the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. We are celebrating the opening of a turning point, I think, in the Juneteenth holiday, the inauguration of the Obama Presidential Center. More than a library, a gathering place in the community, a place of international focus, expecting more than 1 million people a year to move through that processor, which by definition will change the very culture of the South Side of Chicago, where I grew up. In fact, Representative Bowers, when I was running for Congress in 1995, there was a Chicago Easy Finder map. It had all of the north side of Chicago on it, all of the northwest suburbs outside of the city of Chicago on it. It had most of the city of Chicago, but it stopped just north of the Obama Center at the Museum of Science and Industry, as if everything south of the Museum of Science and Industry was not still the city of Chicago. And now south of the Museum of Science and Industry is a processor that's going to be handling more than 1 million people a year from around the world. They're changing streets, widening highways, creating new exits. The entire region is changing to accommodate the extraordinary facility that is Barack Obama. But most importantly, the very definition of an annual anniversary of the Barack Obama Center, because of its inauguration tomorrow on Juneteenth, it will be a permanent focus of Juneteenth going forward for every successive generation who's asked the question, what did you do on Juneteenth? People will be able to say that I stood in the Oval Office at the Obama Center, represented by the 44th President of the United States, who is an African American. It will not be a look backwards. It will be a look forward. Representative Bowers, a proud moment for all of us, is it not?
So yeah, thank you, and I'm trying not to say amen. I'm sitting there and really starting to smile because it gives us something to be proud of and to celebrate. And I'll have the opportunity to get to Chicago soon here for a couple of times, and now I'm really looking forward to it because the last time we were there, as you said, everything has to be changing because there was so much that was still in progress. It seemed like because of the current administration, funding had been lost on a lot of the history that they were trying to preserve in Chicago. And as we were trying to tour different parts on the South Side and other areas last summer, things were stopped at a dead halt, and progress was not being made. So I am ever excited to get there. If I could, I wanted to talk about something Atiba mentioned, just the fact that, voting, our turnout here is so low, but that's why we have to encourage greater engagement. In this season of Juneteenth, we have to continue educating people. I think something, Atiba, that you talked about earlier in the program as well today is the importance of local, state, and federal elections. I'll even go down to municipal at that level. All levels of government, we have to be voting and using our voice, and our vote is our voice, and making that part of lifestyle so that we have fair representation that looks like us, that we can continue to celebrate and not lose the thought that the connection from public policy to our everyday lives, so that we're making sure we're voting in the right representation to make sure that with the connection of Juneteenth in the Obama Center that we continue to have something to celebrate and to fight for.
I guess it was just a little bit over a year ago when Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away, watching a clip about him talk about the Cosby Show. He said one of the things that they were embraced was that the Cosby Show was not a black show. It was a show that was done that happened to have black people in it. And I mention that because Barack Obama wasn't a black president. He was an American president. He just happened to be an American of African descent. And when I think about those who are enslaved, and I think about the struggles that we continue to endure, that part of this celebration of Juneteenth is an understanding that we can actually affect change. President Obama's campaign slogan was about hope and change. And people embrace the fact that, yes, we can. And when his slogan for the second term, I was a bit confused. I'll be honest. I was like, what are you talking about? That it's forward. But now that makes so much more sense. Mm-hmm. And where there are different times in our history, we don't understand why we are going through certain things. I believe that us talking even today about Juneteenth, that this is representative of us redefining what it means to be an American. And the 250th anniversary of America, that I am an African American. I'm an American of African descent. I'm a descendant of enslaved people. But that doesn't necessarily have to define who I am going forward. It just means that's who I am. And I embrace that, and that I am part of the American story. And I think that's where the hope, the change, as well as how we move this needle forward together. So thank you so much, Representative Bowers, for being with us today.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Representative Bowers and conversations with Atiba when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Get ready to play at the LA 84 Foundation Free Play Day Block Party. A community celebration with music, dancing, art, food, games, sports, LA proteins, giveaways, and family fun all day. Saturday, June 27th at 2141 West Adams from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Register at la84.org. See you at Play Day.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-8991. 800-505-8991. 800-505-8991.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. It's Thought Provoking Thursdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We're in conversations with Atiba. Our very special guest, Representative Retta Andrews Bowers, is a co-founder and four-time co-chair of the Dallas Women's March. During the 86th legislative session, Representative Bowers served on the House Committees for Corrections, Juvenile Justice and Family Issues, and Local and Consent Calendars. Atiba and Representative Bowers, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Jesse. It's good being here.
I got to get this in before Atiba's last question of the representative, just so that our listeners and viewers can have a historical context. There are 157 July 4ths from the moment our ancestors arrived on these shores from 1619 until July 4th, 1776. July 4th for African Americans during that period is just another day in the sun. From July 4th until the Gettysburg Address until 1863, July 4th, 1776 to 1863, 88 July 4ths, even after the writing of the Constitution. For Black people with no representation in the Texas legislature or the Illinois legislature or any legislature in this country, just another day. But after Gettysburg, after the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution, July 4th began to mean something to us. We were becoming something. We were becoming something after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the public accommodations legislation and the election of African Americans, male, female, and others, representatives in houses around the country, but also in the Congress of the United States. We were becoming something different. And every July 4th, the holiday meant something different. This is the first time. July 4th is going to mean that we have a presidential center. We ain't never had one of them before. We ain't never had a national celebration quite like the one we're having at this moment in Chicago. With that said, we are responsible for America becoming something. Atiba, we're en route to becoming something.
I agree. And Representative Bowers, I just want to read a quote from Muhammad Ali and then ask you this last question. Mm-hmm. And it's one of my favorite quotes from him. He says, "I am America. I am the part you won't recognize, but get used to me. Black, confident, cocky, my name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goals, my own. Get used to me." And I read that because my last question to you is that in terms of what we're seeing today in the country, what Juneteenth represents, you're right there on the ground. Please tell us what Juneteenth means to you.
Wow. And thank you for that, Atiba, for that quote from Muhammad Ali. Juneteenth certainly means to me that it is that reminder that we have to fight even stronger moving forward to make sure that we too are seen as Americans. and reiterating what you said, not just Black Americans or African Americans. We are Americans. We are a part of the fabric of this community. We are threads in that fabric that cannot be taken out or erased. And so we have to make sure that at any moment we are honoring those shoulders that we stand upon, but certainly being the bridge to what the future brings. I have celebrated Juneteenth all my life, and as far back as I can remember, going down to campgrounds in East Texas with my family. And as you said, while it was a celebration of the freedoms that we do have, it's also that constant reminder that there's still so much work to do. There's still so much more to fight for. And I think as Americans today, we have to make sure that we are letting them know that we are to America, and we should be seen as Americans. And we have the immigration fight here in Texas, that I have certainly said, some think it's not our fight, but it's all of our fight. If you're from anywhere in the diaspora, it is certainly your fight. We are all immigrants. I talk about, my father coming from St. George's, Grenada. And, I was 2 years old when he got his citizenship. So it is our fight. It's a collective fight. And for me, Juneteenth is a celebration of our freedoms, but also a reminder of the work that we still have to do.
So in the last part of the show, we like to give our guests an opportunity to give a message of hope. I'm going to read one more thing, and this is from President Ronald Reagan, because I feel like it speaks to what you just said. If we ever closed the door to new Americans, our leadership in the world would soon be lost. It's very interesting. I think almost kind of prophetic in terms of where we are. But if you could leave us today with a word of hope.
What gives me hope is that there are some young Americans that are stepping up to the plate. So with our fight for voting rights and to fight redistricting at every turn over these past few years, and certainly in the recent days, I see us fighting. I see people stepping up. I see young people coming forward. And it feels like sometimes I've been cheering them on, right? I see these new young mayors. As I said, my son serving on city council, new congressional members. So I do see some new energy coming in, and I do see them coming in respectful, Jesse and Atiba, of those that marched and fought before them. That's the one key that I think we all have to remember, that it takes all of us. And that's what gives me hope when we have young leaders stepping up that recognize the strides that were made by those that have gone before them, and they can honor that and build upon that. And so that is truly what gives me hope. My son is in serving in.
Bowers. I'm sorry. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA 1580. We've been talking to Representative Retta Andrews Bowers, Texas State Representative. Again, you're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Representative Bowers, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Until next time. Up next, Johnny Mack in the Worldwide with Johnny Mack on Thought Provoking Thursdays, right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. The family of Black former NFL player Aldon Smith says they have hired attorneys and plan to have Smith's brain studied for possible CTE. The family released a statement and said they will send his brain to Boston, where medical experts will examine it for CTE as well as other damage caused by years of concussions and other trauma. Smith died last Saturday at a hospital in San Jose, California, after suffering a medical emergency. After years of preparation and work, the Obama Presidential Center finally opens today in Chicago's Jackson Park, with a star-studded list of performers taking the stage for the grand opening ceremony.
I want young people to come here and think, you know what, sky's the limit. You know, President of the United States, right? I could do anything that I want to do.
Then the WNBA will expand to a 50-game season in 2027. Get BIN News Now on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have the best record in Major League Baseball after a 3-game sweep over Tampa Bay. The sweep put the Dodgers at 48-27. They have a 9-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at home Friday night against Baltimore. The first round of the World Cup is generating high TV ratings for Fox Sports and Telemundo, the primary broadcast partners for the World Cup. An average of 6 million viewers tuned into Fox Sports for each of the first 16 group matches. That's a 128% increase from first-round matches for the World Cup in 2022. An average of 7.5 million people watch first-round matches on Telemundo, the Spanish-language network based in Miami. The 7.5 million is a 234% increase from 2022. 18 million viewers on Fox Sports watched the U.S. beat Paraguay last Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I want to thank Atiba for a wonderful conversation with Representative Rita Andrews Bowers from Texas. Our brothers and sisters in Texas, in that Texas legislature on this Juneteenth holiday, are in the fight of their lives. Make no mistake about that. This isn't just an ordinary July 4th commemoration or an average Juneteenth. We are under attack. We are under assault. And there is not a single person in this country, African American, who doesn't wake up every day in some way, shape, or form feeling the nature of the assault, including but not limited to in the White House lawn at the UFC fight, one of the great symbols of our national success and our national heritage, the great icon, the first African American woman to be First Lady of the United States was verbally assaulted by a professional fighter in the White House, at the White House, in her former home, a sacred place for all Americans. Now, if we're still not feeling some of the residuals of that abomination, I don't know what is, but that's just a truth. I feel it. I'm angry about it. I'm not going to forget it. And I don't think anyone should forget it. And that's what I want to talk about while I wait for Johnny to join us shortly. And that is the hybrid nature of what it means to be a Negro in America. I like the term African American. Some people want to be black. Black, when you look it up, and it's synonym, it almost always associated with something negative. I've never really met anybody truly black. Some of us brown, some of us light-skinned, some of us got stripes, some of us got polka dots, some of us got vertigo, some of us had white mothers and white fathers, etc. But we're people of color. We are from an ancestry. We are from somewhere. We are, from my perspective, and maybe it's only my perspective, we are African American, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just like ain't nobody who's an Italian American, ain't nobody complaining about being no Italian American, not even Don Corleone or Michael Corleone. They're from Sicily. Even in the movies, they're proud of their heritage. They sell olive oil, among other things. Greek Americans. In Chicago, there's a Greek town. These Americans have not been asked to give up their heritage. They have the Athens and the Parthenon and the rich history of art and sciences, but also poetry and the aesthetics nature of what it means to be Greek. Branzino fish out of the Mediterranean usually prepares a fantastic fish dish. It's part of their culture. When I was growing up, all we ate was catfish and perch. Never heard of no Branzino till I became a grown man. Well, that means that international fish marketing, the Greeks found a way to export Branzino from the Mediterranean to the rest of the world. That's all that simply means, because it's part of their culture. Mexican Americans aren't asked, or Colombian Americans or Venezuelan Americans asked to give up their culture. But this idea that somehow we ain't got no culture at all, we just here from slavery to who we is. No. We can't be just a void. African American means something, because if we're just Americans, that means we have the right to do what other Americans do, which means we are capable of going to Africa and taking advantage of Africans, just like many Americans go to Africa and take advantage of Africans. I'm against that. My politics comes from defending Africa, just like Greeks defend Greece, just like Italians defend Italy, just like Jewish people defend Israel. I believe that the United States, for example, does not have the right to disrespect African leaders. They don't disrespect European leaders. They don't respect Mr. Putin. They don't respect the premier or president of China. Chinese Americans maintain their cultural heritage, and we have to be proud of our cultural heritage. We have not only a presidential museum, we have a monument to the struggle of our people on the south side of Chicago right now. That presidential library will be presidential library for some folk, but it is a monument to 250 years of struggle since the Declaration of Independence. It is also that. 1619, not a single person on these shores from 1619 to July 4th, 1776 ever imagined that an African American would be president of the United States. It was the furthest thing from the mind of the slave. And if you don't believe me, ask Frederick Douglass. He talked about it on July 4th in his oration about the Negro's imagination compared to the imagination of white folks who had been celebrating and commemorating. Well, they never commemorated it. They've always celebrated the holiday. It has never been a commemoration for white Americans. And that's not a negative reality. It is a reality. It is our struggle that has brought culture to July 4th and brought a new definition of the very definition of being an American. We brought song, we brought dance, we brought theology, we brought science, we brought education, we brought sensitivity, we brought empathy, we brought compassion, we brought a human rights standard to the equation that ignored human rights. We brought labor to the fight. We brought a clean, safe, and sustainable environment to the fight. We brought health care for everybody to the fight to define what it means to be an American. It is definitely not the standard of the Mary Tyler Moore Show or the Dick Van Dyke Show or the Lawrence Welk Show or Happy Days. Speaking of Happy Days, when I was growing up, there was this television show called Happy Days. And I don't remember a single actor who portrayed an African American in Happy Days, because there was nothing happy about the 1950s with Arthur Fonzarelli and Horshack and the other actors. The illusion of hanging around a diner, playing music, taking your fist and beating the hell out of a jukebox to get a song to play, hey, as Arthur Fonzarelli used to say, was not our reality. We weren't allowed to be in the diner until the Civil Rights Movement redefined our access to the diner and to social life, for which we changed. We are responsible for July 4th, just like anyone and everyone else is. We brought something special to it. Real meaning, real purpose, and real commitment. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is our 5th anniversary and the 1st anniversary of the Barack Obama Presidential Center. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! Yeah, man!
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We will be in the Beehive this week. I'll say more about that at the beginning of our next break, commemorating the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. All of your favorite talk show hosts are going to be there. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have some music. Lunel's going to be performing. Kenny Lattimore is going to be present, and others. We are looking forward to seeing you there. I'll talk about that more in the next segment of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. But I want to talk for a few more moments about Juneteenth. Juneteenth, officially Juneteenth National Independence Day, is a federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated annually on June 19th to commemorate the end of slavery in the United States. Now, that day right there ought to be a day where we are some kind of hot about having ever been in slavery in the first place. But it's celebrated in different forms, some with parades, some with barbecues. Very little recitement of what the holiday is actually about. It's just another day off for some of us. But the fact of the matter is, it is a form of a Holocaust remembrance for African Americans, for what we've been through, and the fact that we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled. The holiday's name, first used in 1890s, is a portmanteau of June and 19th, referring to June 19th, 1865, the day when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas at the end of the American Civil War. Now, June 19th, 1865, a Union general delivers the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation, which was 1863, in Texas. Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. And he specifically issued it in states where the Union had no control and kept slavery in place in Union-controlled territories where the Union did have control for political purposes. Let's discuss that for a moment. Where he had no control in Texas, he freed the slaves, and the Texans rebelled against that. And from 1863 to June 19th, 1865, the Texans did not free the slaves. This was an area where Lincoln and the North had no control. There are other parts of the South where the slaves were not freed as well, because the South, the North, had no control in the Confederacy. But Lincoln, strategically recognizing that the stronghold of our nation's Union forces was Washington, D.C., recognized that Maryland, some parts of Virginia that surrounded Washington, D.C., some states like Kentucky, supported the Union cause but did not want the Union cause to be about slavery. So Lincoln kept the narrative of the war on saving the Union. But when he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, he gradually moved territories that were around Washington, D.C., into the acceptance and the idea that we are not going to be able to end this war once and for all until we end slavery. It took the northern states who believed in Lincoln some time to accept that point of view, so that the men from those northern states would continue to fight in the war. He could not make it about slavery until he could make it about slavery, and that was the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. There you have it. That's the story. That's the context of Juneteenth. And so Lincoln carefully navigated sustaining the Union without making the issue for sustaining the Union about race. He had to make it about saving the country. But at the appropriate time, if the Union were to survive, and after Gettysburg, July 4th, 1863, in November of that year, Lincoln would return to Gettysburg, and he would define every subsequent July 4th in the Gettysburg Address, a 3.5-minute speech calling the nation to an understanding that the men who had paid the ultimate sacrifice lay on that battlefield, that the nation itself may endure, no longer half slave and half free. And since 1863, we have been redefining July 4th to include women, to include the LGBTQ, to include Native Americans, to include our brown brothers and sisters from the southern border, to include give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, welcoming immigrants who've been oppressed around the world to the United States. From that moment forward, we began a new definition of the holiday, July 4th, that has allowed everybody to celebrate in a way that they could not celebrate but for the way the 16th president of the United States conducted the war. And so if you say, I'm just an American, that's not how America felt about you on July 4th, 1776. It took a minute. It took a minute for America to get there, but she eventually got there. I'm just an American. Well, it took a minute. That's not how they felt about women on July 4th, 1776, or September 17th, 1787, more specifically when they wrote the Constitution. That's not the way they felt. This was a very, very exclusive club. And desegregating the exclusive club has been the great project that is America. That's the American project. The 19th Amendment brought women into the fold. And after the 19th Amendment was passed, women began to feel more American. And of course, the first woman speaker of the House of Representatives is none other than Nancy Pelosi. Where's Nancy Pelosi today? Nancy Pelosi's on the south side of Chicago. She is at the Obama Library Center, where the 44th President of the United States has named a pavilion the Nancy Pelosi Pavilion on the south side of Chicago. That's exactly where Nancy Pelosi is right now, in large measure because the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States made Nancy Pelosi and her service in the Congress of the United States possible. That's a fact. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters who are holding office around this country far became more American after the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and it drew congressional districts across the country, just like it drew African American congressional districts across the country, to desegregate the Congress of the United States and give them a voice on the floor of the Congress. And so while we celebrate Juneteenth, the same processes that led to the establishment of the Juneteenth holiday and the events surrounding General Granger's order that the Emancipation Proclamation finally applied to the people of Texas, Hispanics don't have to fight that fight. We fought that fight. But it made it possible for them to be mayors, for them to be governors, for them to be senators, for them to be secretaries of housing and urban development, for them to potentially be the next governor of the state of California, the first Hispanic governor of the state of California, potentially Javier Becerra. That's the historical narrative. And so Juneteenth ain't just our holiday. These are pivotal holidays in the establishment of democracy. And I can't think of anything that makes more historical sense than the fact that KBLA is celebrating its 5th anniversary when? On Juneteenth. Because the founder of KBLA had enough sense to recognize that Juneteenth is a turning point in our thinking. Not just another barbecue, not just another party, but a turning point in our thinking about how we see ourselves. Democracy is not a far off conversation that others have. It is a upfront in our face conversation that matters to who we are as a people. Make no mistake about that. That's who we are. That's who America is. And that's why we need to see you tomorrow at the Beehive. Now, I probably have flown the furthest distance to be here for the celebration and commemoration. The Negro has 1 foot in the church and 1 foot in the courtroom. I often say about my brother Todd Yeary, who's on our shows on Thursday. 1 foot in a courtroom, 1 foot in the church. We got 1 foot in celebration and 1 foot in commemoration. We got 1 foot, talking garbage, but we got another foot in the truth. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating it with you. And we're celebrating it at the Beehive this coming Friday. But you must register at kbla1580.com, and we're encouraging folks to ride share. However you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary, your 5th anniversary. Probably far more than that, since the Emancipation Proclamation, since the first Juneteenth in 1865. If you think about it, an official holiday, we have been celebrating Juneteenth for more than 150 years in this country, or commemorating it in one form or another. Here to bail me out is none other than my from the last hour, who left me 30 minutes ago. Johnny Mack, our regular contributor on Thursdays, and undoubtedly is having some Wi-Fi problems. Atiba, welcome forward to the show.
Hey, Jesse, it's good to be back with you.
Thank you, man. I feel like I should go get a glass of water.
I was thinking about you with my bottle of water here. I was like, man, he's going. You're on fire, brother.
Atiba, thank you very much for Representative Bowers. Our brothers and sisters in Texas have been leading one gallant fight for democracy on this 250th anniversary celebration. And she's not the first state representative that you brought on our show from the state of Texas, including those who've had to, she reminded us, confront arrest warrants on the 250th anniversary of America.
And when you say that, it makes me think of Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know we're sick and tired, but the hope is in all these different things. And part of the hope is us telling our story. I think that at times we focus on some things and we hold on to them so much that we are caught complaining, and it's not complaining, it's frustration. But there are so many things in our history to be grateful for. The other day I'm reading John Lewis's book, and Walking with the Wind, and also, like in the gym in the morning, I'm watching old episodes of Eyes on the Prize. Now, let me tell you, first off, Eyes on the Prize is what the late Congressman John Lewis wrote in my book. He said, Atiba, with faith and hope, keep your eyes on the prize. And I thought about this when I realized that Emmett Till's murder, abduction, kidnapping happened on August 28th. The March on Washington happened on August 28th. Right. President Obama's DNC acceptance speech in Denver, Colorado, August 28th. And now you were talking about KBLA and its 5th anniversary, and congratulations, and that it being on Juneteenth, and the opening of President Obama's library right now, the day before Juneteenth. And this is where with faith comes in for me. It's recognizing that these things don't happen by accident. And God is the greatest mathematician, greatest planner, greatest all these things. So when we look back at at Juneteenth, those men, women, and children endured, sacrificed for us today to be talking about them. And I think the responsibility for us is, how do we lift them up? How do we remember their pain, their struggle, their sacrifice? And I think that we best do that by telling our history and recognizing that they imagine the complaints that they must have had, but the faith that they had to have to endure, to be there, and the celebration that they had to feel, which is why Juneteenth celebrations came about, because they didn't get the news till 2 years later.
Absolutely true. If you're listening to us on the 405, the 101, the 5, the 110, the 118, or the 10, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of our unapologetically progressive radio station right here in Los Angeles. I'm in town, and we're going to be at the Beehive. All of your favorite talk show hosts, along with Kenny Latimer, along with Lunel, will all be right here celebrating and commemorating what it means to be us on Juneteenth. More on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, our very special guest Atiba, when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A ceremony honoring the New York Knicks is taking place after their ticker tape parade in Lower Manhattan.
What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy.
Mayor Zarem Mamdani says the city is united after a 53-year wait. East Lansing, Michigan City Manager Robert Bellman has resigned, and City Council has appointed former city employee Annette Irwin as interim city manager. Lansing NAACP President James McCurtis says the resignation is a good step, but more leaders should step down. Mayor Eric Altman says finding a permanent replacement could take several months. And Maryland is joining a multi-state coalition opposing new Trump administration rules that would fast-track nuclear micro-reactor technology. Black Attorney General Anthony Brown and others say the reactors could offer fossil fuel-free energy but remain largely untested. The coalition says federal regulators must ensure public and environmental safety before deployment. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have the best record in Major League Baseball after a 3-game sweep over Tampa Bay. The sweep put the Dodgers at 48-27. They have a 9-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at home Friday night against Baltimore. The first round of the World Cup is generating high TV ratings for Fox Sports and Telemundo, the primary broadcast partners for the World Cup. An average of 6 million viewers tuned into Fox Sports for each of the first 16 group matches. That's a 128% increase from first-round matches for the World Cup in 2022. An average of 7.5 million people watch first-round matches on Telemundo, the Spanish-language network based in Miami. The 7.5 million is a 234% increase from 2022. 18 million viewers on Fox Sports watched the U.S. beat Paraguay last Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some Black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that Black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is termed out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, Black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the Black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are celebrating the opening of the Obama Presidential Library, and Juneteenth will never be the same holiday again. The way in which we've been celebrating the holiday, it will be different, because on this day forevermore, there will be an anniversary of one of the most important symbols in the history of our country, the establishment of the Obama Presidential Center. It is not a presidential library. The President of the United States, the 44th President, intends for the center to be a gathering place of activity, of consciousness, of community service, but also thoughtful dialogue, not only for domestic, but also world leaders, to be able to have a conversation about the state, I assume, of human rights, not only in our own country, but around the world. This is a monumental moment in the history of African Americans. Whatever you think about the way it looks, its shape, its size. 10 years from now, the same conversation we're having today won't be the same conversation we're having in 10 years. It will not be the same conversation a new generation of Americans will be having in 25 years. That library will be sitting there as a testament to the history of our people from 1619 to the present, no matter who tries to define it, because of its historical significance and its very broad-ranging implications for human rights around the world. Joining me in this hour is none other than Atiba. And in this moment, I'm thinking, Atiba, that, we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of KBLA. We are celebrating on Juneteenth. We're celebrating the opening of the Obama Center on Juneteenth. But at this hour, politically, voting and midterms matter. Is it possible that we could even consider Juneteenth celebrations across the country without discussing voter registration and participation? Tiba?
No, I don't think so. And when we were at the break, I was like, I have this memory, Jesse, where I can pick up my phone and I don't remember why, but I can remember things in the past, like it's like ridiculous. And one of the things that came to mind, I want to come back to the voting question though, was because of voting, we got the first American of African descent to be president of the United States, right?
And because of voting, we have a license at KBLA that allows African Americans to broadcast.
There you go. Voting. And in that, one of the things that was so beautiful was 2008, millions of Americans came together and said that they wanted to see President Barack Obama become the president over John McCain. And then 4 years later, they did the same thing when he ran for president again against, I can't think of his name right now. But what comes to mind, they always say you don't remember the loser. But the thing is that I was also thinking back to when I mentioned about the March on Washington, Emmett Till, DNC acceptance speech, KBLA, Juneteenth, Obama Library. Well, August 22nd, 2011, the African American History Museum opened. The King Memorial, the memorial between two presidents, was open. September 24, 2016, the African American History Museum was open. Both of those have the name of President Barack Obama on it because he was the president when they were opened. I'm mentioning this because I really want to keep going back to faith and recognizing that we are built for this moment and recognizing that there's something special that's coming about. There's something special about this being the 250th anniversary. There's something special about the fact that I'm saying that midterms effing matter. It's something special here because this is our opportunity to define the democracy. And I was reading over the break something that former Secretary Hillary Clinton posted on her Instagram page about the opening of the library today. And it was really interesting what she said. And I mean, that she quoted President Obama, and I have to pull it up real quick because I really want to share this. But in terms of what we are witnessing and what happened today in Chicago with this center and listening to how the president talked about things, is that it's not about him. He's always said it's always been about us. And he said democracy can be frustrating. It can be slow. It can be inefficient. And yet, more than anything, I hope this center will serve as an affirmation of just how special and precious this democracy really is, and remind us of what we can achieve when we embrace our shared responsibility as citizens. So as we're thinking about Juneteenth and we're thinking about the struggles of slavery, the struggles of the civil rights movement, even the struggles of today, I still strongly believe that we were brought here from Africa for this moment, that it is up to us to stand up and recognize our place in this democracy, our place as African who are in America, our place to say that God brought us here for a reason. It is time for us to wake up and embrace that and be the leaders within the democracy, the way that President Obama showed and his family showed so admiringly during their 8 years in office.
An African American has died in every conflict since the Revolutionary War. In other words, our blood has been spilled in every single conflict since the American Revolution. Not a single conflict have we not been a part of. And in a real sense, when W.E.B. Du Bois talks about our two-ness, and when Martin Luther King Jr. refers to us as a hybrid of two continents, two worlds, two realities, and a synthesis, we are one or the other, but we are a perfect mixture of our mother and our father, each of us in our own way, shape, and form. This biological reality is true, but this political reality is also true. We are as much American as any other American and as much African as any other African, but there's something unique about us that makes us unique unto ourselves. And that is what it means to truly, truly identify and recognize, as President Barack Obama did and does, is celebrate the differences. Celebrate the differences. Not your differences, but somebody else's differences.
Mm-hmm.
I found great joy in the fact that you're not like me. You're different than me. That you have different points of view than me. And everyone takes the idea that I think is at the core of the president and even the first lady who delivered some tremendous remarks today, Michelle Run, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Michelle Run. You're talking about shocking the whole system. Michelle Run. That changes the Democratic lineup overnight. If for no other reason than to provide hope for young ladies and young men and for Americans, regardless of their race, sex, or class, about the possibility of what we can become as a nation, we really, really owe that to the next generation. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. When we come forward, we're going to have a continued conversation with Atiba, but we're also going to get a word of hope from Atiba. Remember, this is the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580, LA's voice, louder than ever, 6/19/26, 4 to 7 p.m. It's free if you RSVP at kbla.com. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gas gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I think Atiba has busted out his bongos.
Why you say that?
I heard a bongo sound.
I must have been me putting my phone down.
Listen, that might have been the bongo. Listen, you're taking Juneteenth real seriously. If you'd have pulled out the bongos and you letting everybody know that over this way is where we go into freedom, because that's what they did in Roots. When my man pulled out the bongos, he said, listen, when you hear me playing this tune right here, we're leaving this evening.
Follow me.
Follow me. Kunta Kinte said, I'm going to stay with my family. Anyway, Atiba, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Jesse, it's always a pleasure being with you.
Honored and privileged to have known Barack Obama when he entered public life. In fact, I was the co-chairman, along with the late Paul Simon, of his campaign for United States Senate in 2006. Only two co-chairmen served in that capacity. I was a sitting member of Congress. Barack Obama was a state representative representing the seat formerly held by the late Alice Palmer. He had then attempted, shortly after his service in the state Senate, to run against Congressman Bobby Rush for the 1st Congressional District of Illinois. I shared with him that was a bad idea. That Bobby,
because he also ran against my godfather, Don Trotter,
who was very, very well respected. And Donnie Trotter is a good man, know him very, very well. He's my state senator, and was honored that Barack Obama would allow me to serve as one of the national co-chairmen of his campaign in 2008 for President of the United States. And if you remember the speech in Denver, Colorado, I was one of the speakers the night that Barack and Michelle Obama spoke at the Democratic convention accepting the nomination for the Democratic Party. In fact, I believe I introduced Barack Obama to Tavis Smiley back in the day.
Man, Jesse, I wish I knew you then, because I stood in that long line to get in there.
Man, listen, not long ago I had Tucker Carlson on the show, and Tucker Carlson reminded our listeners right here that, hey, Jesse, you're the one who introduced me to Barack Obama. I introduced Barack Obama to a lot of people, saw a lot in him, and he has become far more than I could have ever expected in terms of the leadership that he provided our country and the world. Grateful to call him my friend. grateful to see what he has created and what he is building and the shape of the world to come that he will inevitably have an influence on. Atiba, your thoughts about this moment?
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, Jesse, because one of the things I love the fact that, you know, the journey that God has me on and my opportunities to engage with elected officials, particularly on the state level, because I met Barack Obama when he was a state senator. And my running joke to people is, had I known that he was going to become president within 6 years of meeting him, I would have grabbed onto his leg and I would have held on and gone anywhere he told me to go. But you know, there was no way. That's the incredible thing about our democracy. Is the incredible thing about our politics. I think I've mentioned on the show before, Jesse, hearing you speak as a young person, as a leader within a young leader within the Congressional Black Caucus when I was, you know, much younger. And we don't know when we're meeting, when we're engaging with people where they're going to go. But if you're willing to work hard, put your head down, push forward, maintain a sense of humility, and at the same time have the confidence to believe that you can make a change, that is the beauty of this country. And even in today's pieces, and we're hearing about, oh, they're taking away this and they're taking away that. Well, I love Shirley Chisholm's quote that if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And a former state legislator, Joe Armstrong, told me this one day. We were sitting in his car talking. He said, you know, Atiba, if you're not sitting at the table, then you must be on the menu. And, you know, the table for us is the voting box. The table for us right now is working to get people engaged and registered to vote. And also part of this is educating people to recognize that your vote does matter. I just, you know, a few months ago, we had city council members, Robert White and Janice Lewis George, two friends of mine out from Washington, D.C., who this week just won their elections. Janice Lewis George was a council member when she came on. The next time she comes on, she'll be the mayor. She's in line to become mayor. She just won the Democratic primary. 75% of Washingtonians are Democrat, and she's expected to win the election in November to become and follow Muriel Bowser as the next mayor of Washington, D.C. And Robert White ran, and he won his race. He is now in line to replace Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton and become the next delegate to the United States Congress to represent the Washington, D.C. So we never know who we're talking to, but we engage in this fight. We engage in this thing. We vote because it does matter. And, you know, Texas has the lowest voting turnout in the country. So if you know somebody in Texas, just call them, ask them, are you going to vote? And then ask them to call somebody and make sure that they vote. And let's just figure out how we can connect the dots. It's not just about the black districts and the white districts and the Hispanic districts. It's about the American districts. And all of us together, we are in this fight together. Whether you agree with me or disagree, we're still all Americans. And we need to recognize that your success does not mean that I can't be successful. And it shouldn't mean that.
In fact, it should mean that my success is your success and your success is mine. That is the very definition, from my perspective, of community. I want to share with you a little story in honor of the late Stephanie Tubbs Jones. When Barack Obama ran for president in 2008, very few members of the CBC knew Barack Obama. I had been serving in the Congress of the United States at that point for more than 13 years at that point, when I was co-chairman of Obama for president. And the Black Caucus ultimately ended up being divided between supporters of Hillary Clinton and the supporters of Barack Obama. As co-chairman of Obama for president, I led the supporters of Barack Obama for president, and Stephanie Tubbs Jones was the co-chairman of Hillary Clinton for president in 2008. When Stephanie died in the middle of that campaign, I remember going to her funeral in Ohio, and Hillary wouldn't even speak to me because we were keeping it going on behalf of Barack Obama. I am so grateful for the stories that I've learned, for the witness that I've had over the course of the progress that we have made. And believe me when I tell you, through Barack Obama, we have made enormous progress in defending the democracy and this country, which we should all call home. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at the Beehive. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580. Thank you for bailing me out, Atiba.
Thanks for having me, Jesse.
More when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580. Happy 5th anniversary.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A ceremony honoring the New York Knicks is